Welcome to Rouge Mindset. How do you experience a fight when you're not in the ring, but your heart is? That's how it was at the International PAL Boxing Championships in Oxnard, California, where Gerry and Josh competed. This isn't a video about winning or losing. It's about what happens before, during, and after the ring. My name is Kasia Ribeiro. I am a mom and the creator of Rouge Mindset. I'm not a professional fighter or a sports journalist. I'm just a woman who learned to admire the mental strength behind every punch. And I want to tell you about Gerry and Josh's experience because I think we always see what happens in the ring, but we rarely see what happens behind it. The preparation, the mindset, the quiet moments before stepping in the ring. We started our journey flying out of Newark at 9 a.m., a 5-hour flight straight to LA. Once we landed, we grabbed our bags and hopped on a shuttle to pick up a rental car. From there, I drove an hour up to the coast to Oxnard. Our Airbnb was perfect. A spacious 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. Just what Gerry and Josh needed to recharge every day. And with California being 3 hours behind New Jersey, it felt like we had more hours to enjoy and settle in. The adventure was just getting started. We knew we would be away from home for 9 days, but we had one goal: to give it our all at the PAL International Boxing Championships. It was the 47th edition of the event, a huge tournament that brings together more than 600 fighters from across the US and other countries. Fighters between 9 and 40 years old compete, divided by age, weight, and experience. There are 2 categories: novice for those with less than 10 fights, and open for those who have already passed that stage. Gerry was in the novice bracket for 17 to 18-year-olds, weighing 143 pounds, and Josh was in the novice bracket for 15 to 16-year-olds, weighing 154 pounds. On Sunday, September 28, we arrived at the PAL gym to register. They officially signed up and posed in front of the event poster. That's where all began. That day, they met up with their coach Farrell, who had arrived in California on a different flight from New Jersey. After that, we did a quick interview about how they were feeling before the International PAL Boxing Championships. It was the beginning of a week that would test them in every way, physically, mentally, and emotionally. While they trained, my job was different. I drove Gerry and Josh to the weigh-ins and to their fights, making sure they had everything they needed. I observed closely, capturing moments on camera and supporting them in every step. And I realized something. Boxing isn't just about the strength. It's about being fight-ready at all times. Sharp, focused, and prepared. That constant readiness, the focus and preparation you put in every day, even when no one is watching, brings you closer to your best self. Sunday, September 28. The day was calm and bright, a perfect setting for training outdoors. That morning, Coach Farrell wanted Gerry and Josh to stay active, to keep their bodies moving and their minds sharp. So, the 3 of us went for a run, a 3-mile route that started on the street and led into a peaceful trail near the Airbnb. Running is a key part of a fighter's routine. It builds endurance, clears the mind, and strengthens discipline. Every step is a reminder that preparation happens long before stepping into the ring. After the run and some rest, the afternoon sun began to soften. We headed to a nearby park for a training session, a quiet space surrounded by open air and golden light. They began with active warm-ups, stretching, loosening the shoulders, legs, and hips, getting the blood flowing and setting the tone for the session. Then came shadow boxing. Each movement was precise and intentional. You could see the concentration in their faces as they worked on rhythm, balance, and combinations. It was quiet, only the sound of breathing and the faint wind moving through the park. After that, pad work began. They took turns holding the pads, pushing each other, adjusting combinations and finding their rhythm. The kind of training that comes from passion, not obligation. For about an hour, they trained under that golden light. It wasn't about intensity, it was about staying sharp, staying ready. That session wasn't just physical, it was mental, a moment to find calm before the storm, discipline before the fight. Monday, September 29th. There were still no fights for Gerry or Josh that day, so Coach Farrell decided to keep them active with another training session. We met at the Crown Plaza where he was staying. Before getting started, the boys had a fun moment in the gym, just laughing, relaxing, and even dancing for a bit. It was their way to release tension, to enjoy the moment before switching into full training mode. Then the work began. They started with shadow boxing inside the gym, focusing on movement, coordination, and keeping their rhythm. After that, we moved to an open area right next to the hotel, with the beach as a backdrop. The ocean breeze, the sound of the waves, and the fading sunlight created the perfect setting for training. Gerry and Josh continued with dynamic warm-ups, more shadow boxing, and then pad work with Coach Farrell. Combinations, focus, and rhythm. The sound of gloves hitting the pads mixed beautifully with the waves in the background. It was one of those moments that remind you that training is more than just the physical part. It's about connection, energy, and mindset. Tuesday, September 30th, was Gerry's first fight against Robert Conway, a boy from California. The weigh-in process is a crucial part of boxing. On the day of the fight, every boxer has to step on the scale in the early morning. It can take anywhere from 1 to 2.5 hours, since fighters are called in order depending on their bout number. During this tournament, Gerry and Josh had to be very disciplined with their nutrition. Their coach, Farrell, did an excellent job guiding them through it. Fortunately, neither Josh nor Gerry had to cut too much weight, so the process wasn't as complicated as it could have been. Still, it's always a key step that demands focus and preparation. Everything went well for Gerry with his weight that morning, which gave him confidence heading into the fight. His fight started at 7:30 p.m. It was scheduled for 3 rounds of 2 minutes each. The gym was packed. We arrived early so Gerry could get ready. He changed into his red gear, since in tournaments you either fight in red or blue. His coach grabbed his hands, guided him through the warm-up, and shared a few words of encouragement before the fight. In the opening round, both fighters were testing each other, measuring distance and exchanging punches in a balanced way. It was really exciting to sense the energy already building. By the second round, Gerry began applying heavy pressure, moving forward with confidence and cutting off the ring. His opponent was pushed back, and Gerry managed to trap him on the ropes multiple times, limiting his ability to answer back. In the third round, Gerry was relentless. He looked tireless, always pushing forward, keeping his opponent under constant pressure. That kind of non-stop pace requires incredible cardio and endurance. He showed sharp focus, staying fight-ready at every moment, and his mindset and conditioning clearly made the difference. When you are a mom, every second feels like an eternity. Sometimes you don't even hear the shouting. You are just there watching every movement, every gesture, every breath. When the last round ended, I screamed like crazy. Gerry won the fight, and we all were really proud of him. It was a wonderful moment, not only because he won, but because I know what it took for him to be standing there. The hardest fight is never against your opponent. It's against yourself. The next day was Josh's turn to fight. The same as Gerry, Josh had to weigh in early in the morning. The process took a bit longer for him since he was almost the last bout of the evening session. Everything went smoothly. He had no issues with his weight and was ready to fight that night. While we waited, we could see the tension building around the gym. Some fighters were running outside, trying to shed those last few grams. And one even got a quick haircut just to make weight. The atmosphere was electric. You could feel everyone's focus and determination. For Josh's fight, we got to the gym around 7 p.m. Even though the fight wasn't until 9. We always have to get there early to get ready. Josh fought Dylan Navarro, another boy from California. This was Josh's first boxing fight in a tournament, a moment that every fighter remembers. That first time stepping into the ring, feeling the lights, the crowd, and the heartbeat that doesn't slow down. In round 1, Josh was trying to find his rhythm, his distance, his style. Both fighters were studying each other, trading punches, testing timing. You could see Josh thinking and adjusting. In the second round, Josh landed a few more punches and began moving with a bit more flow, though he still didn't feel fully comfortable inside the ring. His opponent threw several punches too, not always accurate, not very powerful, but enough to keep the tension high. The third round felt similar. Josh kept working, pushing, trying to find that sense of control that only comes with the time and experience. He gave his all, but that night the victory wasn't on our side. After the fight, Coach Farrell talked to Josh, gave him solid advice, and reminded him that every match, win or lose, is part of the same journey. Each fight teaches you something, and every experience makes you stronger. Thursday was an easy day. A short run, some reflection, and clean eating. That's just part of a boxer's discipline. Even on quiet days, the focus never fades. And then came Friday. Back to the gym, back to the lights, the noise, and the adrenaline. This time, it was Gerry's turn to step into the ring again. He faced an opponent named Carlos Hernandez, a fighter with 7 more years of experience. In round 1, Gerry's plan was clear: pressure. He controlled the pace, cutting the ring, pushing forward. That round was all his: dominance, focus, and power. In round 2, Hernandez adjusted. He tried to slow Gerry down, moving more, keeping distance. This round was close, both fighters working hard, trading punches, both refusing to give in. In round 3, the atmosphere grew heavier. Carlos did everything he could to keep Gerry away, moving, defending, throwing, quick counters. He started landing more precise shots, though none were truly damaging. But with just 10 seconds left in the fight, Carlos landed a clean punch to Gerry's face. The referee stepped in for a count. Gerry was fine, steady, standing strong. But before the fight could continue, the bell rang. The fight was over. He didn't win that night, but what he showed, heart, pressure, discipline, that's what real fighters are made of. Because losing is not failure. Failure is never trying. That evening, after the fight, we went downtown Ventura, had Japanese food, laughed, and walked through the night. And in that moment, even without a medal, there was victory, in growth, in courage, and in the will to keep going. On Saturday, we headed to the beach to recharge, to breathe, to feel the sun, and to let the ocean remind us of balance. The boys ran toward the water, laughing as the waves crashed against the shore. The sea was cold, but that didn't stop them. They were full of energy, life, and freedom. They were wearing their Rouge mindset t-shirts, symbols of focus, passion, and everything this journey represents. We could hear the sound of the waves and the sun setting slowly behind them. It was one of those moments when time slows down, when you realize that joy is also part of discipline. Being around these 2 young fighters made me realize something deeper. The ring doesn't just test your strength, it reveals your spirit. Every punch tells a story of courage, discipline, and heart. And behind every fighter, there is silence, focus, and a will that doesn't break. That's why Rouge Mindset was born, to tell the stories behind the fights, the unseen battles and that shape who we are. Because this isn't a YouTube channel. It's a reminder that we are all fighters, inside and outside the ring. And in the end, it's not about winning. It's about never giving up the fight. And that's the essence of Rouge Mindset. It's not just about fighting. It's about the mindset that pushes you to stand up again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. If this story inspired you, hit the like button and subscribe for more stories like this one. Stories about fighters, discipline, and the power of the human mind. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Gerry and Josh's journey. What part inspired you the most? And what fighting mindset means to you? Thank you so much for watching. And remember, the fight doesn't stop when the bell rings. This was Rouge Mindset. Dominate the mind.